Welcome to No FOMO Charts YouTube channel. This is live stream number 6. It's Friday, August 14th, 2020. This channel, in this video, I talk about stock charts and technical analysis education. Disclaimer, these videos and charts are for educational purposes only. This is not financial advice. Okay, let's start with the DJI. The Dow Jones Industrial Index here. And so we just finished up another week of Q2 earnings, quarter 2 earnings here in the USA. So let's see what the analysis is. I'll try to make this video a little faster once I start the analysis. Okay, so first up, DJI. So the Dow Jones Industrial still in its daily uptrend. Starting from July, do you see this? Let me turn off the lines so you could see we have a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And we've broken through the previous two resistances at around 27,600. So what remains to be seen now is the original target first was hit. Okay, do you see this? The original bullish upside target has been hit. Okay, so that's completed now. Now the question is, will we pull back down to support and make a higher low in the price and eventually try to maintain this bullish momentum to test these previous resistances over here at 29,314 and 29,601. So let me go ahead and draw this, okay, for next time. So now there are two targets. So the support target down here would be somewhere in the 27,000 range. Okay, how do I find that? There's multiple touch points right where my cursor is horizontally. You see that? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a potential support zone. Resistance zone up above is there's a gap up here, 28,946. Okay, and then there's final support. Not final, but a second support down here. Do you see where this hammer bounced up from? Okay, that's also an inflection point. So right there. So now we have a higher target up here. So two targets. Basically, bullish target 28,000 or 29,000. Bearish target 27,000. All right, but if you think of it this way, if you look at the triangle pattern and the volume, here is we broke out and we're testing down. Okay, it's consolidating along this. Now this is support zone right here. Okay, so we want to watch out for that. We're going to get the bounce up or break down. That remains to be seen. So we'll watch that price action and react accordingly. Okay, next, S&P 500, the SPX. So SPX still in its daily uptrend. How do we know this? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Very simple. So now the question is, again, same thing with Dow Jones is, are we going to pull back? We're going to pull back and retest 3270, 3280. Okay. Why is it important? Because there's multiple touch points, price touch points. There's a form of resistance. And now it's acting as support. See that? And there's a gap over here. And this whole zone, you see like this whole zone horizontally. All right, so bullish target would be every 100 points if you want to make it easy numbers, right? Or every 50 points. So 3,400, 3,450, 3,500 to the top side. So these three targets are still in play. Interesting that we're touching the resistance of, I'm going to call it the pre-COVID-19 resistance crash right here, somewhere around 3392. All right, so this is critical for the S&P 500 because if we fail and we can't go higher than this spot, okay, then I'm expecting a pullback. Where? Down to 3280, 3228, 3144. All right, so it's looking like potential plus or minus 4% on S&P 500, up or down. So we'll see how that goes. Nasdaq IXIC. IXIC. There's a lot of lines here, but the key point for Nasdaq is it's still in its uptrend. You see this? It's going upstairs. Okay, so if you just see one or two red candles, as an analyst or a trader, is don't panic. Okay, unless the news is extremely bad. The overall more important theme is it still trending up? Is it still going upstairs? Right? Upstairs. Uptrend. Okay, it takes time. It might take, like this, the coronavirus crash, it took 2 to 3 months. Let's actually get accurate numbers. So it started on February 20 and like ended on March 23rd. So basically a month. It'll take a month, right? So it'll take several weeks to get from here to here to here. So maybe 2 weeks, right? So I'm talking about longer term swing trading or investing, right? We're still in the uptrend. Still in the uptrend. Okay. What would make me think, okay, this is bad for bulls is if this happens, downtrend confirmed, then it's like, okay, this particular price action is bad, right? If the downtrend is confirmed, but it's not confirmed. It's not confirmed yet. So we're still in a confirmed uptrend. So with that foundation in mind, now we look to the targets. So interesting, we didn't quite hit we did hit our target right here, the resistance of 11,125, right? Up above. But it looks like the momentum is going sideways. It tried to pull back. Bulls tried to rally. So this bottom side target was actually hit as well of 10,775. You see that? So we went from the top resistance almost to the general zone on the bottom support. So now it's the same type of thinking where if this is a higher high, if this is a higher low, there might be a higher high breakout possible, right? To like 11,500. That's a nice target. 12,000 is also a nice target. Strangely, Nasdaq prices are very similar to Bitcoin. Think about the numbers, right? Both of them are in the 11,000 range at the time of this video. So where's the support? Okay, so there's this support right here at 10,764. Okay, that price right there. The resistance above, immediate resistance, 11,136. You see that? So very simple, if we break down, I'm expecting to retest right here, 10,800. If it breaks out, then it has to test the ceiling first, the first resistance, 11,132. And then every maybe 500 points or a couple hundred points, right, would be a target because now Nasdaq is in all-time high breakout mode. It's the highest ever in history. And it's kind of strange it's happening during the COVID-19 crash, but that's because of all the government support in the American stock market. So basically, that's probably the only downside risk right now because tech earnings is over. I mean, there's the whole TikTok company issue going on right now, like who's going to buy TikTok, what's going to happen with TikTok. So there's some of that uncertainty as well in the tech sector, also vaccines and the virus itself. But at the same time is this, if it's just floating right here in the middle of this triangle, right, then very simply just have a support target and resistance, multiple support targets. So let's get another support down here. In the middle of this range makes sense. Why? Because there's a lot of price action. If you just kind of fold that down, and where's the middle is like right there. So that's why 10,500 is probably support. Number 2, resistance. Number 2 to the top side is let's just measure this consolidation range and break out 3%. So that's about 11,500. So right here, this yellow circle right here. So it could pull back, right? Pull back, and Nasdaq bulls don't like to give up that easy, so it might just get stuck in there for a while. But if it breaks out, Nasdaq bulls will love that. So we'll see. Okay, Russell 2000 index, Russell 2000. Interesting play here where you had the ascending triangle pattern. Okay, Russell 2000 still in its daily uptrend. Since when? Since mid-July. Okay, higher high, low, higher low. Excuse me. Higher high, higher low, higher high price, higher low price, higher high price. So what's it going to do? Probably test the support. It's already folding over a little bit, right? Anything's possible with the stock market, but normal trend is that upstairs pattern, right? Sometimes if you get like a penny stock, it goes like that, but we're talking normal market action. So let's get the targets and move on from here. So higher high right here, because right here, if you look at these candles, there's an obvious resistance in this zone because everyone's selling right there on the top of the wicks, the sticks, right? On top, that means people are selling. Bulls are trying to push it up, but bears are saying no and selling. So basically, the 1600 Russell 2000 level is the resistance, psychological, and then there's a 1590 resistance in there as well. So if it's going to fold over, it's probably going to test exactly right here, 1540, all right, like that, maybe. Depends on the market. It could continue, and because there is a support right here also at 1567, right? It could continue up to the bullish target at 1600. Where did this circle come from? It's because there's a lot of touch points on this side, meaning there's a lot of price history at 1600. So I want to watch out for that. So again, the two setups for this, like a Russell 2000 or a ascending triangle breakout, is the breakout, the retest, and then continuation up. That happens, okay? Or you have a breakout, a test, a fail, and then it goes into a downtrend. So those are two scenarios you want to watch out for. So the two targets are upside target 1600, downside target 1550. All right, right there. Okay, VIX. This is the volatility index on the S&P 500. VIX still in its daily downtrend. You see this? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high attempt. So if the S&P 500 and the rest of the stock market keeps rallying, I'm expecting a lower low on this, right? But that's the bearish side, right? So the bearish support is at $20. This whole yellow box is the support. So $20, $19, $18 is the support. But again, this type of pattern, like if you just look back and rewind 3 months, is when you have a lot of downside like this, okay, then you sometimes you get a breakout, right? So we have to think about it like this. If the market crashes, this thing will break out. Very simple, very simple, usually. Okay, it's not guaranteed, but usually that happens. Okay, so we just want to watch out for that. Maybe, right? Maybe there's going to be a double bottom. So again, this $21, $22, this gigantic box right here, the large, huge box right here, this is support, 22. All right. So we want to watch out for that. Just if you ever see VIX, if the market crashes down and the VIX starts doing this, it's like you're probably going to get, it's possible, like you saw here, there's 50% potential, right? So 50% potential will bring us back up to like 33 range. So you just want to watch out, right? But that's only if the market crashes down. Okay. Next, the big story for this month and last month, gold, spot gold price. So gold, US dollar, XAU, USD. Okay. So gold has been in its 1 year uptrend. All right. So I keep harping on this because it's important, because again, this target was here for a long time, for 9 months, maybe 1 year. This target of 2000 was right there. So again, how did I know it was going to crash down to the middle heart line? It's just from experience. It's just from experience. Okay. And so technical analysis too. So again, we went from the bottom of the channel in June to literally the top of the channel perfectly in the span of 1 month exactly. All right. So let me show you some extra clues, okay, for gold ETF. Let me show you some extra clues, okay? So how did we know this thing was going to break down? Well, first, okay, so you had the higher high, higher low trend, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. But then when you start getting this pullback action, like I was saying last time, I'm like, where's the downside target? I marked it in the yellow circle and the white line, right? First target would be 1980. I also said the median at 2000. If we lose 2000, then 1980. If we lose that, then this middle heart line, exactly. Okay, the robots know. The bots and the algorithms, they know where these levels are already. So it's not hard for them, the bots, the robots, and the algorithms and the quantitative trading funds to be able to understand where the targets are, right? So now what I'm seeing is, okay, we got to pull back down to here. Okay, that's fine. That's normal. That's normal. When you get a huge overextended run and there's no buyers left and people start getting scared, then you get a pullback in the market like that. Okay, so what's next for gold? Potentially. Well, let's do the analysis. So the lowest point it went down to was about 1864 on this Oanda one-day chart. Okay. Also, there's a 3 candlestick pattern right here, possible Morningstar pattern, possible, right? Possible reversal pattern. Also, it came down about halfway, 50%. Okay, so that's Dow Jones theory. All right, go look that up if you never heard of that before, right? Dow Jones theory in the stock market, right? It's not perfect, but it works. So boom. So now the 3 big levels right here is low support around 1793, right? Then the high around 2067. Okay, so hold on, let me get my calculator out. All right, so you get some accurate numbers. 1793 plus 2075 divided by 2, somewhere in 1934 range is the midpoint. So that's exactly somewhere around here, right? That's basically close enough in the zone where this action happened. Right here, just compress this and squish it down, and where's the middle? Somewhere around 1934 range. Or you could just say it's that middle heart line right there on gold. So it's holding that right now. So if 1934 is like the midpoint of this breakout rally, I'm talking about this part, this like huge part right here, 14%, 50% on gold is a huge move, right? Then bring it back down like 7.5%, halfway, that's exactly where we hit. Then a bunch of bots went crazy and pro traders came in and got this little bounce right here, right? So immediate support, what's the price right now? 1945. So immediate support is 1900. Okay, 1900. Also, just kind of beware of this. But again, if we're really looking at trend theory, okay, if it just went from upstairs, you see this? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, like a super higher high, right? Or like this. Okay, and we're pulling back like that. Then if it's going to turn into a real downtrend, expect the bounce, okay? If it's going to turn into a real downtrend, this needs to go down all the way to the bottom of this channel in the support. So, believe it or not, the low support target for the bears is like 1800. Okay, so I'll circle that. Why is that important? Because if it's downtrending, so downstairs looks like this, remember? So lower lows and lower highs, okay? It's going downstairs visually. So downstairs, it's got to bounce up once at least, right? And then maybe test 1900. If we lose 1900, we're going to 1800, all right? But if this is a true Morningstar continuation pattern and we're going back up, then I'm looking for a retest of 1990. 1990. So if you really think about the price, it's stuck between 1925 and 1965 right now. So that is a 3% range. All right, so some of this momentum slowing down on gold. Also, if you use other indicators, there was other warning signs, right? But if you just keep it simple, okay, if you keep it simple, there's just 2 scenarios. Bullish continuation and try to test one of these resistances up here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 ranges. Okay, I'll leave these marked for next time. Right? I could see this bounce, trying to bounce up closer to like retest 2000, right? It's possible, 1950, 2000. But if we break down, let's say this bounces up next week and break down, then I'm looking for the retest of this like 1900 range, this 1850, and then 1800 if it goes real bad, eventually in like a month. So we'll see. Why is gold important? Because gold is so correlated with Bitcoin right now. If you're trading crypto, we got to pay attention to gold and silver. So here we go. Silver. Also in its daily uptrend since March, April, May. Okay, there's this little consolidation period just like Bitcoin, just like Ethereum, similar. But now it's higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Okay, so when we pull back, again, it's that same type of analysis of the price. All right, if you have a range, right, and we see this range get stuck here for several days. I got stuck here several days and then broke out. Okay, also got stuck here in this triangle pennant pattern and break out. Okay, then we get stuck in a consolidation up here at the top. Also, there's the double top, all right? So it's a rejection, like I was saying last week, at like 29 or 30. Okay, I circled that. We hit our target, then the pros said, okay, time to take out profit. Sell. The shorts came in and said sell. Right? Then where do we bounce to? The support I marked last time at $24, $25. Right? Bears try to push it down to $23.45. Bulls said nope and rejected that, and we bought it back up. Or not we, but bulls bought it back up. Right? So again, trend theory comes into play here. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? If it's going to be lower low in the price, a lower high bounce would already happen, okay? So if it's going to turn into a downtrend, also if it turns into a head and shoulders, okay, let's just play out the head and shoulders on silver, which is, it might not happen because head and shoulders have been kind of unreliable in this global situation right now because everyone's so bullish. But if it happens, 18% potential drop. That is going to hurt somebody, right, in the market. 14%. That's why no FOMO, right? Like you didn't want to be the person who went all in on their account on silver ETF way up here at the top, and then you're automatically, and if you got squashed here, or if a trader got squashed here, they're likely going to sell and lost 20% for no reason, right? So we use technical analysis to increase the probability of being successful. It's not perfect. So if this head and shoulders plays out, the negative 14, if this turns into a right shoulder and goes down, so from the neckline, negative 14% would be way back down to this support level, like 22, 21. All right, so that's the ultimate bearish target in the past month. All right, that would make sense too because it's right around this support level. You see that in the price. But that's the bearish target. So if the bearish target doesn't come true and it's just a support bounce like this, so just analyze it the reverse way, right? What if this is just support like this and we're going to bounce? So then if we bounce up like that, the upside target would be 30 again. Retest this one more time. Let's see, right? Because bulls, the market likes to retest things. Like a lot of times well, not a lot of times, but sometimes you'll get one spot, it'll just touch it one time and then you crash down. But usually those are like cheap penny stocks. If you're talking about a real company or a big ETF, right, is the bulls are going to see like, wait a second, are we sure? We're sure we're done, right? So it's going to retest one of these resistances it already did right here at 27.71. All right. So we hit this target. So let's erase this circle. So in summation for this one, for silver, okay, we're again stuck in the range just like gold. Nobody knows, right? So 27.53 to 25.29 range. If we trust in the trend, if it's going to be a normal trend, right? Lower low, lower high. So then, yeah, I could, like gold, test the 23.60 on the downside, right? So 23.60 possible target. But if it's going to continue up, then I'm looking at 27.41 and 30. Okay, so these two targets still matter. And this, if it goes real bad for like a month straight downtrend, then we're probably going to end up back at 20. We'll see though. All right, so dollar currency index. Interesting here. First thing I'm seeing is possible that there is a double bottom, right? But the fact that this is even showing this price pattern down here is suspicious to me. Okay, because this is like, okay, that makes sense. People are selling the dollar, meaning they want to buy stuff, want to buy stocks, want to buy options, they want to buy crypto, they want to like spend their money and buy things because people are risk on right now, or they were risk on, right? But coming into August, it's like, wait a second, what is happening with the world again in terms of COVID-19, and now like even right here in the bottom, it's like everybody's talking about TikTok right now in terms of the corporation, right? So in terms of like tech sectors, like TikTok, who's gonna buy TikTok? What's gonna happen with TikTok? But basically, dollar currency index. Here we go. Dollar currency index. Excuse me. Right here, upside down, possible inverse head and shoulders, right? Possible in upside down head and shoulders. If we measure that, yes, it's only 1%, but most people trading this, or not trading this, but using this as a marker, it's important. Okay, 1% is kind of a lot in the dollar currency index. So again, the first target would be here at 94.66, right? 94.66. The second target, another 1% up, would be 95.68. And this is how we know technical analysis can work, because I marked these long time ago, weeks ago, and those are now the targets. So that's just a perfect example that technical analysis can work, right? So the two targets here on dollar currency index, they've been there for this whole time. So the downside target is if the inverse head and shoulder fails, right? This could be a manipulation, right? Or just a failure of the pattern. And where would the support be? 92.60 right there for support. And the other supports, you have to look way left, but you could see it here. Where is there a lot of price action? Price action like 92 and 91.44. Okay. So we'll see. But I'm going to leave this here because interesting, it turned into a consolidation range. How long is it going to consolidate in there for? So it could break up to the upside like this, right? Or break down to the downside. Very simple. But we have those targets, so there's less FOMO when it happens. Less emotions. All right, US oil. USO. US oil. Interesting. Still in its daily uptrend, basically. We had some pullback scares, right? But again, we don't have to get scared if there's a pullback, is what I'm saying. Is like some people, like beginners, if they bought up here and then they see this happen, like, oh gosh, it's crashing, and then they would just sell here. But the professionals are saying, wait a second. We're still in this uptrend. Right? How do we know? It's tightening. It's actually more of an equilibrium, like tightening pattern. In terms of, hold on, the lines got messed up here. But basically, if you look here, I'll highlight in yellow. It's like in this tightening symmetrical triangle. Right? It's kind of like angled. Somebody could call it a wedge. Right? It actually looks more like a up and wedge. We could call it a wedge. Right? But the fact is, it's tightening. So what does that mean? The volatility is tightening. Okay? So at some point in the future, maybe this year, and this is very tightly connected to the US oil. The COVID-19 vaccine situation, right? COVID-19 is that once the vaccine is confirmed that it like works in the US and global, and then we're probably gonna get this hype of, oh my gosh, we're gonna reopen. This is gonna be the greatest thing ever to happen in society this year. Like we're gonna reopen. Like people are so excited about that. We were already excited in America back here in May. Because look at this excitement in the market. We had the crash of like, oh no, contango, right? Demand supply, nobody can buy, nobody wants oil right now. There's nowhere to put oil. Then we had this whole crash crisis. Then it's like, wait a second. We're going to reopen the first time, right? And then it's saying, oh, no. Actually, we have to wait. So let's just wait, right? And the market's still trending. People are still bullish, but the volatility is tightening. So again, if you just measure using technical analysis, if you use the big backside of this, it's like a 20%. Okay? So back when I did this, it was like way back here. So 20% somewhere from this breakout spot, or negative 20% is from this breakout spot, right? Let's say from here. Approximately, okay? This downside target might be a little lower. But the fact is actually we're just creeping up towards the upside target, right? So this is a lesson that in technical analysis and in stocks and ETFs, it's like we don't have to have that penny stock Bitcoin type of action where it just goes boom like that in like 2 days, it could take 6 months for an uptrend to happen, right? And then you still get to the breakout target eventually, right? So there's a key lesson there in terms of what it's like. What is the asset that we're trading or analyzing, right? This is the U.S. oil fund. Very unlikely unless there's an emergency, like you're just going to get one huge update like that. I mean, there has to be like the greatest miracle in the U.S. Oil industry, right? So, again, bullish targets. Okay, let me erase some of this because it's getting a little bit messy on the charts here. Let's just look at it like this. Look at a line chart. Okay, make it super easy. Okay, it's still higher, high, high, low, high, 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 low, high, 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 low, high, 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 low, high, high. So if it's high, high, higher, high, then the higher low is very tight. It might come down to like 29.82, 29.82. So with that in mind, is what I'm gonna do is, and this chart keeps glitching on me, is let's see, just very simply draw the resistance at 30 and the support at 29.84. All right, so that's where our price is stuck. Now, where are the other upside targets? So again, there's this whole range right here that oil might break out to you. Okay, do you see that? Because I'm looking left right here, there's all this space right here. So might fill the gap, okay, and eventually hit this target, right? If that doesn't happen, if something really bad happens with the economy and oil, right, then if we see it turn into a downtrend, then I'd be concerned. Like, okay, that's not good, right? But again, every time, not every time, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, right? When there's a big pullback, the oil bulls are saying, no, we're going to reopen eventually, so let's get this price back up. But if you look at the long term, like if you zoom out to a weekly or something on oil, is this could just be, right, lower high and this lower high, but it's really dragged out. Okay? So we got to remember, it's like just because you see the green doesn't mean we're going to the moon with USO, right? Is look at this trend. Consolidated and boom, the crash, bounce, boom, and this bounce, right? I just consider this another recovery bounce. Okay? So, want to watch out for that. All right, let's finish this up. I think it's almost been like 33 minutes. So, natural gas, UNG, ETF. Okay, so natural gas right here. All right. This chart got messed up. So, we hit our resistance target and went a little bit above. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase everything on this to make it a lot easier. So, what happened? First thing up is what's the trend on the daily? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So what it's doing right now is testing how far can this go up to the resistance. So where the resistance is, right here, this range. How did I find that? It's from the left. Okay. Excuse me. You look left right here and you say, wait a second, the price hit this $15 range like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, maybe $14, 7 times, right? So you're just kind of stuck right here, basically. There's like an invisible price ceiling here. But again, if you think about in parts of the US right now and the world, it's kind of hot. It's like summer, right? So I remember the news on this one that came out was more that people are going to use electricity and gas, right, during the hot months to like cool down. So that kind of increased the demand, which would increase the price, right? So there's that fundamental part tied into this is what I'm saying. So again, where are the targets? Okay, so the resistance, if this keeps going up, high, low, high, low, high, right, is let's mark, it's going to probably try to test like $15, $14 as well, right? See if we could get there. But if it can't get there, the immediate support is 1289. Okay, I'll draw on the horizontal. It's 1289, right? It's 1193. Support is 1129. The upside targets are 14 and 15. See that? So there's like, it looks like this. There's 4 targets. Okay? So what I'm also seeing though is, all right, there's some trend that's starting to develop a little bit. And when it gets really steep is when you might want to get a little concerned about the analysis, right? When it gets kind of steep like this. Because if it ever breaks down from here, is like, that's suspicious. So there's also here, like that. See, it's kind of like a sharp angle. Really high. Quite a high triangle right there. So, yeah. But this might not make that much as much sense as the horizontal. So let's just erase those. Because a lot of times horizontal support is more reliable. Okay, so that finishes up the U.S. market index. And if anyone wants to see any American U.S. stock company analysis, like I'm talking Amazon, Apple, Google, Netflix, Facebook, Tesla, AMD, what other big ones are there? Like, let me go to my, like, even just look at this, right? What's popular? NEO, right? American Airlines, Macy's, Bank of America, GE, right? Party City. Had some, probably some good news, right? Codex, right? Vaccine. So that's why if you guys have any stocks or companies, if you're watching this, just type it in the comments or the chat box and I'll put it into the analysis, chart analysis rotation. So let's move on to global indexes. Okay, so why, if you're wondering, like, why do I look at global indexes? Like, why does it even matter? Is because it's very tightly related to like supply chain and COVID-19 and the vaccines. Because strangely, I mean, this is not strange, but ironically is Asia, I mean, this is true, is that Asia had the virus first, so their stock market crashed first. But also their recovery started first, before the US. Right? If you look back in history, it's like Asia tends to crash first a lot of the times. Right? Because think about a lot of US companies and where, like, look at where all your merchandise is made in. Like, where is it made in? Made in where? So we should look at that country, right? Because that's the supply chain of business. And we learned this year, when you have supply chain problems, you have major problems. Like, there were items in America we could not buy for like 3 to 6 months. That's supply chain disruption. So, that being said, let's start the global market index section of this live stream. So I'm looking at the Shanghai Composite SH Comp. It's China stock market. All right, so recap, we had the rally, okay? Then support test, okay? Remember, these targets, we marked this like exactly, hit our targets perfectly. Retest of support, then bounce up, retest of resistance, then pull back to test about the halfway point. So if we look at trend, it's going sideways, okay? So let me go into a blank spot up here. There's basically 3 things that can happen in the market with trend. You can go uptrend, that's up, okay? You could go downtrend, which is down, right? Excuse me, a lot of noise in the background here. Or, right, you could go sideways in the market. Let me change something with this microphone. 1 second. Okay, so there's 3 things, right? Uptrend, downtrend, or sideways, right? Sideways consolidation is also almost, to me, like never good. Because what does sideways mean? It means indecision. It means uncertainty, right? And sideways markets, yes, and sideways stocks, like it is possible, right, to trade this. Like, you just, one strategy is, I'm giving you a secret right here if you're paying attention, is buying support if you're a bull, right, for technical analysis, It doesn't work. You can't do it infinite times, but as long as this consolidation goes, it's like, yeah, you buy support and then you sell resistance. It's like that's a tried and true tested trading strategy that can work depending on what stock and the conditions of the market, right? But so look at this right now. It's uptrend, right? Uptrend, boom, boom, boom. Okay. But then what happened? Almost turned into a downtrend. Almost. But like I said, we're going to test the support, and bulls buying here at the bottom saying, nope, we are going back up. Why? Not just because of people's emotions, but people, the investors and the professionals saying, we're going to reopen eventually. So let's get this economic activity and let's get this stock prices priced into the market. Okay, so all the expectations and news is getting priced, it's getting put into the price of the stock or the ETF and the index, and that's why the market moves. Also on news as well. So we had a bounce up. This turned into a nice trend line here. Trend line, right? Boom. Then there's also, so it's like a symmetrical triangle pattern like this. Okay, and why did I have these big like X targets up here? Is if you measure the symmetrical triangle here in yellow, right? Let's just measure like a nice middle spot, 6%. So from the breakout, that 6%, 6.5% was right here, 3572, 6% down was 3140 approximately. But what happened? What ended up happening was a little bit pullback, but the bulls still buying their dips, right? But what you want to watch out for is if the Shanghai Composites all of a sudden starts downtrending over several weeks, that would cause it to hit this downside target of 3137, right? But if we have to maintain this uptrend, then we're going to eventually hit this. But then you have to think, why would the market go up? Like, what are the 5 reasons the market can go up? And then what are the 5 reasons the market can go down, right? COVID-19 is reason number 1, right? Vaccine, probably number 2, right? And then US-China relations, probably number 3, right? Let's just leave it there. And like individual corporations, number 4, like think about like TikTok and stuff like that. Okay. And then number 5 is just what are people thinking, investor sentiment, expectation in their minds. And then 6, like news, right? So those are some of the factors. It's not a complete list, but just want to watch out for that. So again, if you don't turn this into a triangle and you just draw some, like a channel, okay? If you draw a channel, if you want to do this type of analysis, channel analysis, it's kind of hard to see. See if I can make it huge. See that? Right? It's just stuck in the channel going sideways. So it turned into an uptrend into a consolidation. That's a key lesson. Uptrend into a consolidation. So with consolidations is the breakout spots and the breakdown spots are of pivotal importance. So 3390, okay, see how many times it got rejected? Rejected down. I was trying to draw it down arrow. Rejected down, right? And support right here, 3195, it got bought up support 2 or 3 times. Okay, so now you have the resistance 1, resistance 2. There's also a resistance here at the 3467, right? So there's like 3 levels. So I'll just leave this here. But again, if it's going to break down, I'm looking at 3200. If it's going to break out, I'm looking at 3456. All right. There's a big lesson in that one. All right, so Hang Seng Index. This is Hong Kong HSI Index. All right, so first thing that I'm seeing, even if you erase, is look at this double bottom on the support right here at 24353 right here. It came down, bought up. Came down, defended by the bulls. Try to break out, defended by the bears. All right, so Hong Kong also, it's subtle, it's starting, right? There's this a little bit of this consolidation again. You see this? It's starting the consolidation pattern. Also, there is a double bottom pattern, but it kind of failed. Not completely, right? If this is the W pattern, the double bottom pattern, it should have went higher than that eventually. So let's play out different scenarios. If it's going to break up, 2.63% is like 25,864, like up here. Okay. If it's going to break down that same amount, then we're talking about where this original yellow is the support, right? So again, it's like China stock market is, where is the breakout and the breakdown consolidation zones? Breakout zone is 25,524. Breakdown zone is 24,294. All right. So look at this. It's like the reverse. It's the inverse of China. It's China stock market is downtrend into a bit of a consolidation, right? It's not perfect. Someone might argue like, wait, this is a uptrend. And if it is, great, right? Great for the bulls. So if it's an uptrend pattern, then the target is anywhere between here, 25,563, and up here, 26,500 range, like that, right? If it's going to consolidate, then the downside target is 24,265. Okay. All right. Try to speed this up. So Nikkei 225, the Japanese index. So again, this is a classic chart pattern. Consolidation wedge into the breakout. Classic. Okay. And it broke through a resistance up here at the top. So again, what does this mean? Japan was in its uptrend, corona recovery. Then wait a second. A second wave of infections, or 1.5 wave. It's like, wait a second, consolidating here, earnings, right? But then it hit the support level exactly where I circled it. Literally exactly. 21,721 right here. Then higher high, higher low, higher high. Okay, so we broke through this resistance trend line. We broke through this resistance and we hit our target up here. That line up there, 23,192. So what remains to be seen is if this turns into higher high, higher low, probably going to pull back at some point. I don't know how far, but right here maybe. There's a gap right here. 2295, right? But let's just pretend it's going to go all the way down here, would make sense. So support, boom. Right there. 22,907. So if it goes boom, boom, boom like that, that would make sense. There's a huge resistance, huge, right? All over here. So then these targets, let's actually mark them. There's one way up here, 24,096 Japanese yen. There's one inside here, 23,418. And then let's just leave it there. So the usual pattern for this is boom, 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 breakout, retest, and then test all these resistances up here. If not, I've seen it happen so many times. Break down. It's like try to bounce and maybe ride on this and break down and then do that. So because now that the majority of Q2 earnings is over, we have to think, what's next? What's next? In the US, you hear news all about jobs, unemployment. Stimulus is the big one right now. Stimulus. We're supposed to get the fourth package of stimulus sometime in August. Negotiations didn't work so well for the past 2 weeks, right? And also we got this TikTok company buyout issue, right? So these targets still remain, okay? I'm just going to draw this as the bullish target box up top, right? And then these supports all still hold. So it really depends on the news and the economic data. Okay, KOSPI, the South Korean Composite Stock Price Index. All right, so look at this. The pattern played out. What do I mean? What do I mean by this? Higher high, higher low. Higher high, higher low. Higher high, higher low. Higher high. Massive rally. What is this? Let's just take a step back. What does this remind me of? Like August 3 to August 13? S&P 500, right? August 3 to August 13, look at this. Looks like almost the same, right? So with the KOSPI, very closely tied to other global indexes in terms of the price action. Not very closely, but it's close enough, right? Like basically both countries are having the same kind of market reaction and sentiment, right? So just want to watch out for that. But now that we're at the top, okay, this top line doesn't look right, so I'm going to erase this. All right, so we had the ascending triangle breakout. Very nice. See that? Ascending triangle breakout. So this pattern, boom. This is what I'm talking about. You break out, retest, boom, up. Measure move. Okay? The measure move was about 8%. Okay, maybe if this you consider this the breakout 10%, that would make more sense. So now what's next? What's next? Let's go ahead and, for sake of time, I'm not going to erase all this stuff. So very quickly, right? Resistance up here at 24.58 Korean won. Support, immediate support at 2388 Korean won, like that. Support number 2, still right here, 2357. All right. So if you're looking a little more long-term though, it's from this breakout spot. Let me erase this. From this breakout spot to right here, it's about 10%, right? So if you go down about 5%, that is a hidden support level at 2335, right in the middle right there. Okay. Then you have another support at 2280. So this particular candlestick pattern is evening star. Okay. Traditionally, it's bearish, right? Traditionally, it's bearish. So where am I looking down if we have a pullback? Because you have kind of a really happy extended rally. It's like pullback. But then how deep? So it could come deep all the way to 2335. It could do this and then do that. Right? Or if something bad happens, boom, test this resistance now and then test the support like that and then test resistance and then test that. So at any point, it could turn into a downtrend. But if you think about the global news, it's like, is it really getting worse or is it getting better globally? Right? Not just in our minds and feelings, but we're looking at real economic data. All right, so the ultimate, because I'm leaving this for a week, is the ultimate bullish target is up here, right? 2600, 2558, 2500. Okay, these upside bullish targets, which I marked in the X. Excuse me. So, downside targets, again, is 2280, 2220, right? 2100. Okay? But if you want to keep it simple, it's just, are we an uptrend or downtrend? Higher high, higher low. Higher high, and then where's the higher low going to be? That's the question. Where's the higher low? And if it's a continued uptrend, if it's higher low, then where's the next higher high going to be? Maybe retest this, right? So we'll see. Try to go faster here. XJO, Australia Stock Index. All right, this looks like a lot of marks on here, but we hit our target. So what I'm going to do is just erase it so it's a lot easier for people. So right now, if you look at, just zoom out, okay, Australia in a bit, it's like oil, okay? Look at Australia, look at the XJO, and then look at the oil chart, right? Look at oil. Similar, right, in terms of the angle of the trajectory, right? It's not completely related, but I'm just saying. Now we're back at Australia index, right? We had some rally, and then it's consolidating to the side. So I'm going to change this analysis, right? Just got to keep up with the changes, with the analysis. I'm seeing something more like this now. Okay, and make this smaller so you could see. You see that now? Also, someone could say, wait, there is a ascending triangle also in here like this. Okay, so there's two things. There's the larger consolidation pattern. If you go rewind back, more like investment, if you're swing trader, medium term is like, wait, there's a ascending triangle pattern here. So we just hit the resistance of 6158 up here, okay? And the next downside support besides 6,086 is 6,000 and then 59.27. So now that we got the price all boxed in right there, is we'll look at some trend. Still in the uptrend, higher high, higher low, high, low, high, higher low, higher high. So I'm saying I'm expecting a higher low to 6,000 if this is normal market trading conditions. 6,000, okay? And then the obvious retest of 61.66 up here. But if it breaks out like Japan, like this, right? I mean, not that high, but if it breaks out like that, where are we going next? Look at this little price inflection point, cluster of price right there. So let's say the next breakout target is 63.17 to 64.19, right? So this is the second bullish upside target. If something turns really bad and then we start downtrending, then the second support target is down here at 58.62. All right, so I'll leave it like that. But again, it's still in the uptrend, but it's like a losing momentum is what I'm saying for now. Okay, Nifty 50 index, the India index. All right, so it's still in its uptrend. And here is an important point about the Nifty 50 is if you look here, some kind of suspicious double top at 11,350. Okay, this chart is getting messed up, but this line right here, so I'm going to extend this out. Okay, so here's where trend lines, it's just starting to get violated down to the downside yesterday, their time, right? You know, double top, boom. So where's the next support? Probably around here, 10,900. Resistance up above at 11,382, right? If you lose this support, next support down is 10,610, right? You lose that, then it's 10,300. So we can use these horizontal support and resistance as a guide and also use trend line as a guide. So the questionable thing here is this double top right here. So we want to watch out for that in the Nifty 50. All right, Euro next. Euro next. Okay, hit our targets, right? Very nicely. So what I'm going to do is erase it to make it easier to see. So Euro next in a longer term kind of consolidation in terms of getting stuck between two prices. So what I'm seeing though is more of the triangle pattern style, right? Like that. Okay, that makes more sense to me because it's tightening. Okay, it was uptrend, now it's tightening in more of a symmetrical triangle type of pattern. So we measure 8%. Okay, 8% is quite large, but the measured move on this for Euronext is 1,051 euros up there. Eventually, I'm talking longer term, right? To the downside, if we do it from here, 8% would be pretty bad. 887 euros. That would be way down here. Okay. Let's make sure that's correct. Somewhere maybe like 890, but upper 800s of euros. Okay. That's the longer term, probably like 3 to 6 month targets. But shorter term is there's a resistance at 1,000 and there's a support at 963. All right, so Euronext attempting to continue its higher high, higher low pattern. Okay, so if it hits support, that would make sense. If it hits resistance, that would also make sense. Okay, so I'll leave those. Okay, UK 100 index, UK 100. I cleaned this one up a little bit last week. So this chart is, again, UK 100 index in the downtrend, okay? This is confirmed downtrend. So here's a key lesson just on a chart perspective. It's like, how do you know when something goes from uptrend into a downtrend? Okay, there's what I call this transition period. There's like consolidation, like top area. So I'll draw it for you. Let's just erase everything because this is a really good example. All right, so unfortunately, sorry if you're from the UK, but this is just an example for the charts. Is if you're higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. That's confirmed uptrend, even up to here, higher low, right? You see that? Higher low, higher low, higher low. Higher high, higher high, higher high prices. But then what happened? Erase that. But then what happens is key, is the market moved up, but it's lower than here. Okay, this is higher. That's good. Okay, test it again. That's fine. It's higher price. Okay, here. So this turned into a consolidation range right here. See that? So it went from uptrend into a consolidation. Okay, and then the longer it plays out like this, is like, wait, this is getting pretty suspicious. It's lower low, lower high, lower low on the price, almost a lower high. Okay, so this is like bulls. The market is really trying to stay up here to survive. UK 100 though, you want to watch out for lower low like that. You want to watch out for that. All right, UK 100. Okay, also if you start drawing some trend lines, you'll see the angle of the trend lines is angled down. All right, if you draw it this way in the early days of the COVID-19 recovery, it's totally angled up. And then in the middle, it's angled sideways. So you could use the trend lines for that too, once you get 2 touch points, minimum 2 touch points on the bottom and the top to close in the price. So right here is what I'm saying is like that. So to make it more accurate, if anyone needs this, is like that. This is how I drew it last time. Okay, and this is not random. This is technical analysis on the charts. So for a medium term. Okay, on the daily. So again, if it tried to break out and failed to break out above that price level, this white trend line up here, then where's the obvious target? Somewhere down here in the 5799 range. Pounds, right? If it comes down here and bounces, right, then 6129 would make a interesting recovery. But the point is the UK 100 index is angling down, okay? So it's probably related to a lot of what's happening in the UK and the EU, all right, in terms of the corporate activities over there and the government policies. So I want to watch out for that. So I'll just circle it if anyone needs this. So downside bearish target, somewhere around probably 6,000 to 5,900 GBP. If we hit the top side again, let's say it comes down and bounces, then the 6,100 pounds would be the target. All right, so it's also just kind of stuck between these two horizontal lines. All right, the SMI, Swiss Market Index. You see here, this is more of a, it's uptrend, but it's kind of muted uptrend, muted. Okay, so riding this support line right here, riding this support line, trend line. See that? That's good. So now there is definite support at 10,000, psychological 10,000. You see that? Then 10,500 resistance above. So if this is going to turn into an uptrend again, then these two targets up here still remain. It's 10,500 and 11,000. If it's going to break down like this, which you could easily do in like a week or two, easily break down 9,600 to 9,300. Okay, so these targets still remain because they just rode this support line, so it didn't really change that much. Okay, so Paris, CAC 40 index. All right, nice bounce off of support right here where we drew it. 47.63 euros, right? And then we boxed it in here at the top side at 5,100. I'm talking about these two. Okay, so it's not stuck in this range. But if you look here, this triangle pattern is over, right? Triangle pattern's over. It broke down, lower low, lower high. So now I'm curious, like, is it going to retest this? Or is it going to break down? Or are we going to stop here and go up? So I'm going to redraw. Why? Because we want the most recent price action in here. So if you look at this, it's not quite like the UK 100 index. It's a symmetrical triangle. Symmetrical triangle. Here we go. Measure it. 6% from a potential conservative breakout spot. Okay, 51.34 euros. Topside bullish target. Okay, same spot, and you measure it down. This makes sense as well. 4,500 euros. There's all this price action right here on the left side. So you can have This is the bullish target to the upside. This is the bearish target. And this is the immediate support right here at 4,800. Okay. Watch out for that. All right. DAX, the Germany index. Okay. So this one a little bit easier to see right here in terms of these two upward angle trend lines like that. You see that? Also Germany riding this trend line up with the bounce, test the resistance. What you want to watch out for is maybe a head and shoulders, maybe. But again, in this current market conditions, a lot of head and shoulders have failed. But let's just mark it. Okay, so if you have 3%, or let's say 4%, 4% to the upside or downside, 4% will bring us back down to here, this first support, 12,310. Okay, from there, 4% down again will bring us down to here, 11,765. So let me erase this. $11,65765 right there, right? But if we break out to the upside, +4, right here, 13,442, and then 4% more on top of that, would be 14,000 psychological. So let's not get too eager about head and shoulder patterns because of, think about the general sentiment is most people think we're going to recover within like a year or two, right? So, you never want to exactly try to predict what's going to happen with the market. Is just kind of get a general sense, in my opinion, right? Because if you just close your eyes and try to predict, it's like that's not what technical analysis is. It's just more about forecasting. Like, it's not impossible for this price to bounce up to here. It's not impossible because there are trend lines pointing X marks the spot, like literally right here on the 13,500 range. So we'll just leave it there. Okay, I'll do one more, then we'll move to crypto. So the TSX, Toronto Stock Exchange, Canada. We're talking North America now. So interestingly, TSX is more similar to like the S&P 500. Okay, so it's in its ascending wedge pattern, or like an upward wedge pattern. Okay, see this? Tried to break out right here at the 16,500 range. So we hit our target. See the blue line? Like exactly. Boom, hit the target. Okay, so now that's completed. We'll erase that. Next set of targets. Now that this price action happened, it's like, fine, we found a resistance. Move this line up a little bit to contain that price. So where is like an X marking the spot for support? Boom, right here, right there, 16,300. So I could see this coming in the market, right? Support, right? There's a horizontal and a diagonal support. Bounce probably up to 16,820, right? Where did I get that number from? Is boom, right here. And it extends all the way to here, and there's another X marks the spot type of action right there. So we'll just leave it at that for Toronto Stock Exchange, North America. Okay, so in this last part of the live stream, I'm going to be going over crypto market, everybody's favorite crypto market. So it's the top 10 major cryptocurrencies. Before we get into it, just know that today is Friday. So it's Saturday in Asia right now. So we have to keep that as the foundation. And also the strong correlations to gold and silver, right? We just had gold pull back down, right? Gold pull back down, let's say like 7%, right? Silver pull back down about -10%, all right? So with that in context, it's the weekend and gold and silver just pulled back down. And earnings is essentially almost over for Q2 earnings. All right, excuse me, let me get some water. Okay, so Bitcoin US dollar, Bitcoin US dollar, BTC USD. We had the breakout up, the rally. And you see here, this is what I'm talking about, consolidation zones. We had a rally, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, but then it turned into a bit of a consolidation. What it actually is like a large pennant. See that? Okay, so the bigger yellow is the general zones, but if you want accurate, let's get the trend lines because it's still trending up. See that? And like this. Okay, so it's like a very tight wedge or pennant. It's basically a flag. Okay, so flags are usually continuation patterns, usually, but can fail. All right, so we can measure the flagpole, right? Is it impossible for another 25% on Bitcoin? No, it's not impossible to go to 15,000. It's not impossible, but we just have to remember that Bitcoin is volatile, right? It's a volatile asset. So Bitcoin, what happened last year and the year before that is we had major exchange hacks, right? That could crash a market. We see when the stock market crashes, Bitcoin crashes. If any high position government person like President Trump or Trump tweets out something negative about Bitcoin, that could crash the market, right? That could sell off, right? Because he did it with TikTok, right? The government could do it with Bitcoin. It's possible. We just have to always put that in the back of our minds or side of our minds that the government could enact some negative laws against Bitcoin, right? Or they'll tweet it out or they'll do something that's going to make the price go down. So we have to watch out a little bit for that. Is all I'm saying. I was giving some examples in the past like 1 or 2 years of what actually happened. So basically we're in a pennant flag pattern, right? If you want to be conservative and just measure the flag, right? Let's just say 10%. So 10% from the exact spot it is right now as making this video, 13,000. That's totally possible. Why? Because 13,000 was the high of last year. Okay, and then we stopped. And also, this is where President Trump tweeted that Bitcoin was like not a currency or something like that. It was basically a negative tweet and like the market panicked. I still remember that day. Market totally panicked. Right? And then it was over. So we just kind of want to watch out a little bit for that just in case we start getting to those higher levels, right? And, people really like to look at Bitcoin on the weekends, apparently. Because whenever we have a huge FOMO rally, it starts on like a Friday for some reason. Because I think everyone starts talking about it. So, anyways, we got support right here. Let's get some support levels. We got support at 11,330. Support at 11,000. And previous support 10,500 and 10,000 psychological. Right? But every time it comes down, see bulls and bots, they're defending this. 10,500, 11,000. You see that on the bottom side? So, those are two more important support levels, right? The resistance up here, 12,000. The big question in the news right now is, are we going to break out above 12,000 now? 12,000 is like the new 10,000. Okay, we broke the 10,000 and held it above it. We broke 11,000 and held above it. Now it's 12,000. If we break 12,000, 13,000 probably in the cards. 12,500 probably in the cards. Right? Meaning it's possible. But for Bitcoin, we still look at trend. Okay? High, high, higher, low, high, low, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high is the question. Where is the higher high going to go? But we just marked it. 12,000, 12,500, 13,000, 13,500. 4 targets to the upside. Okay, I'll mark it. 2, 3, 4. Very simple. Support targets to the downside. Again, 11,000, 10,500, 10,000, 9,500. All right. But again, if you look at trend, it looks like Bitcoin wants to find its higher high. But at the same time, if you use other momentum indicators, it's going to take maybe like a couple days to a week for this all the sellers to, if someone's going to sell and take profit, like they need to do it eventually, right? If they're day traders or bots, they need to do it. That's kind of what these big two red candles were over here. But the inverse is true, is if someone's going to FOMO in, like the rest of the market's going to FOMO in, like they need to do it like now, basically. Because if this keeps consolidating for a long time, right? Bitcoin traders, they only have so much patience before they give up. Okay? Let's look at this. And before the bear said, you know what, we're not going up, we're going to short this. Like, look at this action. Look at this long consolidation period for 3 months. Some people started to give up. Right? You have a crash, people give up, sell, and then the shorts come in aggressively. The bots push this down all the way down as far down as legally possible. Right? So it's with this type of setup, it's like if we're going to get continuation, we need the continuation within this month. Right? We need to maintain this upward momentum. If you're a bull, we need to see this happen. Right? But if you want super value, right, then you got to kind of wait. Right? For now, I'll go into the intraday, right? I'm at a 4-hour chart. Uptrend is still basically uptrend. It kind of stopped actually a little bit here, but then it's starting again. High, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So the 1-hour chart, this is intraday, is inside day 1-hour charts, right? Still overall in the upward direction. A little bit of sketchiness happening right here, consolidation, right? Boom, but then in 1 hour still in its uptrend. So there's no extreme major sign that we're about to crash right now in Bitcoin, but it's possible, right? Because you have to think about what's unknown. The chart is known. Like people who know technical analysis or traders, like we know the chart, we see it. What's unknown is the government going to do something about this? That's the question. Are hackers going to do something about this, right? Is a major exchange going to get hacked this year? Who knows? Right? So those are kind of like more the unknowns. All right, next, Ethereum USD. Ethereum, we hit our target, blue target, perfectly. Perfectly. All right? It's getting a little crazy with the lines, so I'm going to erase this. I'll try to go faster. All right, so still in the higher high, higher low pattern. But again, this a little bit, I mean, this is a head and shoulders on the RSI. Like, come on. That's why it was really obvious to predict this pullback. But again, the pullback happened, but then so many bulls are still saying, you know what? The rally's not done. So in their minds, so they bought this dip. Interesting, right? Interesting. Although we might see another pullback because we're starting to lose momentum again on Ethereum on the 1-day chart. That's just the 1-day chart though. Right? Because if you look at weekly, I'm on a 1-week chart where every candle is 1 week. We could totally pull back all the way down to 282, right? Which is like 40% down and still be in a weekly uptrend. So that's why we have to be really careful to not FOMO in, you know, too hard at the exact wrong spot, right? We don't want that to happen. Okay, so again, I'm on a 1-day chart now. If you rewind, higher high, high, low, tightening, high, low. Where's the next high going to end up? Like 500 is in the cards, right? 500 is possible. Let me just erase this, too many lines. 500 is possible on Ethereum, right? Possible. But are we going to stay there for long? Who knows, right? 400 support, 365 support, 314 support, 282 support, 250 support. All right, now we got those horizontal support lines in there. We'll look at the trend. Higher high, higher low, higher high. Well, there's higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So higher low, I'm expecting like 400 support. Okay, let's just draw this and move on. 400 support or this range of 366 and potentially 500 if we break out bullish. Okay, so we just want to watch out for that. Okay, next, XRP, Ripple, USD. Ripple, USD. All right, so we had a larger inverse head and shoulders pattern. So for the targets on Ripple, if this upside down head and shoulders really plays out, it's huge. I mean, we're talking 75%. We're talking 75%. So where's 75%? 75% is 38 cents. right? If the entire pattern plays out, it doesn't have to. Patterns don't have to play out, right? It's just the general psychology. It's like we went up, and if something bad happens, then it's over. But we broke out higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So if it's going to continue the uptrend, higher high, where maybe to 40 cents, possibly. That psychological number of 40. I mean, if we hit 50, people are really going to get hungry for Ripple. They're going to get thirsty for Ripple, right? They're going to want Ripple if it breaks 50 cents. Because where's the next logical target above 50 cents? 75 cents. Then $1. I saw Ripple go to $1 with my own eyes, right? So it's possible. Okay, so, but that's being a little overly bullish, right? So again, that's just the bullish target. Somewhere between 40 cents and 50 cents eventually in the next like 2-3 months. But if this breaks down, it could totally come down to 25 cents. 25 cents, 20 cents support. Okay? So those are the 4 basic targets. And right now it's stuck in consolidation between 32 and 27. Not exactly consolidation, but I mean the 2 zones. Okay, Bitcoin Cash next. Bitcoin Cash. All right, so here's an example of it went from a downtrend into a sideways trend. Okay, into a sideways trend. And you see this? If you just draw it out, it's like, wow. Upside down head and shoulders. 6% from the neck breakout. We actually went way more than that. Excuse me, it's 20%. So 20% to the breakout. We went 1.5 that. Then pulled back. Okay. It's very short-term downtrend. Very, very short-term downtrend. But again, some people might just say this is a classic flag continuation pattern of this. That's a classic flag. So 2 ways to measure this, right? If it's going to break bullish, all right, the first conservative target is 12%. 12% would be 336, right? 12 more percent would be 378, right? Or if you want to use this style of measure the actual flagpole is 40%. So now the other upside target is way, way up here. So 436. It's not impossible. It's just technical analysis, right? 3 targets. Boom. Right there. And the inverse is also true. So it's like negative. You could crash down negative 12. Back down to 261. Crash back down negative 24. 228. And it could crash back down negative 40%, which is not impossible for crypto. 170, right? So, but again, what remains to be seen is just the simple higher high, higher low pattern. Higher high, higher low. Continuation. Where? Higher high, maybe 379, right in the middle there. Possible, right? It all depends on Bitcoin, really, and the stock market. So, Cardano, ADA. All right, so Cardano in its classic resistance breakout pattern. Look at this. It's like the stairs are there. Can you see it? Can you see this? Stairs. Stop. Breakout stairs, right? It's like stairs, 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 stairs. Uptrend. It's like a textbook uptrend, right? So if it's right here, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, it's trying to find the low right now. So it's tightening though, which is suspicious to me. Tightening, losing momentum. 13 cents is support. 15 cents is resistance above. Okay? Because if this was a real uptrend, this thing should be breaking out like way up here. Should be going to like 25 cents, right? If it was a real serious breakout, but it's not yet. So just keep drawing the trend lines. All right, so this is interesting for trend line analysis. It's right at the support level of this trend line. I wouldn't be surprised if this just does this over the next week or 2, like that, to 25. So 25 cents is a nice psychological, 20 cents as well. The 2 targets right there. Breakdown would be somewhere like 11 cents. Also here, 9 cents. Okay, so those are 2 breakdown targets. All right, but let's not get too obsessed over one crypto. Okay, it's just more about Bitcoin. So Right here, there's support at $41 for Litecoin, resistance at 61, and support at 51. All right, very simple. Support at 45. Next resistance targets 66, 72, 80, 83. All right, and there's one more 36 standard. So now that this is all inside here, okay, we're looking at higher high, higher low trend. High, low, high, low. All right, it's actually, again, another flag pattern, right? So to make it easy, let's just measure the flag. Maybe 40%. 40% will bring us back down to like the upper 80s, right? Eventually. 89. Okay. But if you break down 40%, I mean, that's like COVID-19 crash style. It's like going back down to $33, right? So if this is too huge, that's more of a long-term target than just measure the flag itself. Okay. Plus or minus 10% is more doable. So the short term is like 63. I'm going to just point the short term ones. Short term or 51. Okay, so this makes way more sense. 63 or 51. Long term is like 89 or 30. Like this. Okay? So we just got to watch. Like, is this flag pattern going to break out or not? That's the question. If not, it's going to turn to a downtrend, consolidate back down to like 50. All right. Wrapping up here, Binance Coin. Binance Coin still an uptrend. See, this is what I'm talking about in terms of the consolidation, right? It could uptrend and lose a little momentum and then find its second wind. So, second continuation, I mean, right? So, boom. $15 support, $17 support, $21 support, resistance, $23 resistance, $26 resistance, $30 resistance. Let's just leave it there. All right, so the breakout target is right here. Why? Because there's these price history over here. So 25 to 30 is the target because uptrending still, right? If it starts downtrending or consolidating, we're going to stuck in here. Consolidate, get stuck. Break down, then we're probably going to come down about visually halfway. So 20 would be the support on Binance Coin, okay? EOS. So EOS still trending up for now. EOS, again, with the upside down head and shoulders. Here, let me make this candle so you can see. Candle. So upside down head and shoulders right here with the neckline like that. So measure it again, for example, 13%. So 13% times 2, 26% target hit. Okay, if it happens again, 26%, 13% would be 380. Okay, the white line right here. 26% more from now would be like $4 range. Okay, so these targets are still good. These targets are way still good. All right, so what you want to watch out for is just, I mean, look at this huge wick. I mean, come on, that's some whale bot algorithm action, right? If it's that big, it went from the top of this channel wedge to the bottom, and then we're going to try to recover from it, right? You want to watch out for that. I'm going to erase this one. Doesn't really make that much sense. Let's just use horizontal, right? Because crypto. So high, low, high, low, high. It's testing the high. How high can it go before people are going to say, you know, I'm going to take my profit and get out of here? Traders and bots, right? I'm talking about this, the upper $3, $4 range. Next, Link. This is a perfect example of that flag continuation pattern. The flag pattern, look at this. Flag up. This is the actual building of the flag, then the breakout. Okay, also watch the volume. Volume down. Volume really, really, really quiet at the bottom of the flag. And then people try to sell, but then the price doesn't go down. So what does that say? We got buyers. We might have hit a bottom, then we get this, and then it turns to uptrend. See that? So just remember this like picture is the flag. The flag. Right? So as an example, the flag, you measure this, 89%. Then what's happening right here? You hit the 89% target on Link. So technical analysis can work. So if we hit the 89% target and it's still in an uptrend, let's look for any price history. This one doesn't have much on this particular chart. So then we will just use whole numbers. So next target, $20. Okay, resistance 1841, support 1617, support 1474, support 1280, like that. But notice that, okay, you just want to watch out for link. Like we hit the 89% target. We hit the target. On a weekly, this thing could still pull back. This is a weekly chart now. This thing could still pull back halfway to $10 and you're still in a weekly uptrend. So we're going to watch out for that. Watch out for that. So to make it easy on people, Link might be going plus or minus 30%, right? Just really depends, right? $16. I mean, Link used to be like $1 something, if you remember that. And back in the days, it was less than $1 like back in the day, right? Now $16. But what we want to watch out for, possible, I'm just saying it's possible. Maybe there's a 5-wave Elliott structure in here, right? So at some point, Link is going to top out, and I'm expecting an ABC correction on Link. But just want to watch out for that, okay? Because if I already hit an 89% target, is that now we really look for uptrend, okay? Oh, okay, Link. Oh, hi. Thanks so much for watching live stream. Okay, so I'll just finish XLM and then I'll come back to Link and then we'll do Link in depth and then end there. So XLM, really quick, XLM still on the uptrend, right? Boom, like this. Okay, a little bit of consolidation right here, but Link, what we want to watch out for, okay, is just watch out for these resistances above here. Okay, 12 cents. 13 cents, 14 cents, 15 cents, okay? Then support on the downside, like 9 cents, 8 cents, 7 cents, 6 cents, all right? So now that we have all these support and resistances, real quick here on Stellar, is just watch out for, is it gonna turn into a head and shoulders? Maybe. Right? But if it keeps going up, then expect these as your resistance targets and these as your support. Okay, so let's rewind to Link. Okay, so if you want to in-depth on Link, let me find a better chart. Because this one, the Coinbase one is too new. It doesn't have enough information. So let's go to crypto. Let's try. Let's see. Let's use the old one. Let's see. We could let's see. We could try a Bithumb one, like that was old, but that's a Korean one. Try Bittrex. Let's see. This one goes to 2020. Try Binance. Yeah, let's use the Binance one. So it's Link. This is Link USDT on the Binance exchange. So look at this price history on Link. All right. So if you want in depth, let's start way back here. Let's look at a monthly. This is a 1 month chart. Link USDT Binance chart. Okay, Link USDT. So if we look at Link on a monthly, okay, it's in its higher high, higher low pattern on the 1 month chart. This is like kind of like investing, holding for a long time, just analysis first. Higher high, higher low, higher high. So that's key right there. Link just this month making the past 2 months its higher high on a monthly chart. So with that in context, okay? So we just know that for a fact. That's like proven on the charts. We get some trend lines up here, right? We had the ascending triangle pattern on Link that was broken this past 2 months. You see this now? Like that. All right. So if you're looking at super long-term targets on Link, Okay, this seems a little ridiculous, right? It's like 10x, but it's maybe, right? This is talking about like years from now. It's like $50 is the ultimate target. But then at the same time, that's the bullish target. But at the same time, though, if it pulls back down, you see this line right here, this triangle line right here. If it pulls back down to that for whatever reason, that's negative 75%. Okay. So that's negative 75%, right? So you just want to watch out for that as like $4.50 is the support way down here on a monthly. Like we just have to remember that in our minds. All right, so if we move to a weekly then, weekly still in its uptrend starting from like June. Okay, look at this like consolidation right here. That was not anything important, too much for trading. But then all of a sudden we got the pullback, then boom, right here, like this. Okay, so what I was saying about Elliott wave is it's like, maybe if we do Elliott wave like this, a little bit of a stretch, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. And 5 would mean we're topping out at some point. Maybe it's going to top out at 20 is what I was thinking about. For now, like short-term top out. I'm just talking about people trying to trade this right now. You know, people trying to trade this right now, right? So again, if you look at a weekly, what I was saying earlier is higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? But then if it pulls back, it can still pull back all the way down to $9 or $8. Maybe hold support here, and then eventually, like 6 months from now, break out above 20. So it really depends on Bitcoin. So that's kind of the underlying issue here is all these altcoins typically follow Bitcoin, typically, right? So if we want to see Link go to the moon, like $20, $25, then at the same time, we need to see Bitcoin go to like 15,000, right? 12, 13,000. I switched to Bitcoin. We need to see Bitcoin go way up here, right? So here, let me do this. Let me do this. Let's look at Bitcoin. Okay, so this rally from July 20th, okay, to like right now. Let's do 1 month. So July 15th to August 15th. Okay, this 1 month is up rally. Okay, then let's see Link at the same time from July 15th to August 15th. Right? You just scroll back and forth. It's similar, right? Because Link, okay, Link, everybody loves Link. So, I mean, it's been a hot crypto altcoin for like 2 years. So basically, it had its up rally first before Bitcoin. If you think about it, see, Bitcoin was consolidating and going down. It was a downtrend while Link was going up. So it is possible, right? It's not impossible. Then we had the pullback down, right? Where Bitcoin was very, very quiet for that 1 week, right here in that last week of July, right? Or excuse me, it was going up, Bitcoin was going up, and Link was going down. Then the altcoins came back to life and said, wait a second, Bitcoin's going up, boom, and then the bots kicked in, and then this flag pattern completed. Okay, I'm reading your question here. Put a stop loss on Link. Got triggered and the whales shook you out of your position. Is Link unstoppable or will you get another chance? Link. Okay, so I think to answer that question, it gets a little tricky because I'm trying to do more educational advice, but I think what I'll say on this is if that was happening to you, like if you're getting stopped out by whales and bots, that to me that means I'll break it down like this. Like if you're trying to be if someone, not you, but if a trader's trying to be a scalper or a day trader, and you're looking at like 5-minute 15 and stuff like that, then it's very, very, you gotta know your patterns and trade really, really quickly. But if you're doing more swing trading and you're looking on like a 1-hour chart, a 4-hour chart, or daily, right? Or if you're an investor and you're looking at weekly, monthly, then it's all about buying. I'm assuming you're going long, like you're buying green. Then it's all about buying at support levels. So for example, on this link chart, like right now, let's say if somebody bought here, like if somebody did this, like that, you see that? And then link crashed down like 25% and somebody sold out of that and then didn't buy back into this, right? That's the game that the whales and the bots like to play. That's the game like they like to play. So it depends on somebody's style of trading. Is that to directly, let's see, answer your question better. I wouldn't say link is unstoppable, because on the charts, like I've seen it so many times myself. If you look at this chart, is like after it reaches a huge rally, it's gonna pull back, because the psychology of price pulling back like here is that people, like traders, are just selling and taking profit in their positions. And then the shorts come in, the short sellers come in on crypto, and then they start selling, and it turns into a downtrend, right? So if we look at historically, like where did link, I still remember this rally vividly, is it went almost 1,000%. So just in my experience, when something goes 10x, 1,000% on crypto, it's probably going to sell off. Okay, and then it's sold off like negative 70%. All right, so if somebody like bought here and they held it till here and then they panicked and sold down here, they just lost 70% of their investment, right? So we don't want that to happen. We have another rally. This time the rally was on this side of the chart, like 90%. And then it pulled back down like 50%. Then another rally of 170%. Then it pulled back down 70%. Then if you think about this, if you just combine this whole thing together, since the COVID crash, link is up 1,124. 1,124. Okay, yeah. Oh, so if you're so if you're a hodler, then yeah, it's just buying at areas of value, if possible, because like you're saying, if we're trying to, like right here, if we're trying to wait, let's say if we're like looking at this chart right here and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy if it comes down, but it never did that. So basically, for me, this was it. I think what I would recommend to someone right now is, if you're looking for another entry point, is look for the next pattern. Because right here, if I just draw this pattern is really obvious. Kind of hard to find, but it was there. Right? Like boom. And boom. It's not drawing well. There's ascending triangle pattern. So right here, this is ascending triangle pattern. So it was forecastable. Like anyone could have seen this for like a month right here, all of July, and be like, wait, we're coming to a resistance point. So basically, it's either about playing breakouts, like this is a breakout, 275% breakout, or waiting for pullbacks. So we already had the pullback in the COVID-19, right? So that was like one of the great spots to enter just on the discount, right? But then there's the next pattern here. So the next pattern I was saying like earlier is there's a flag continuation pattern play right here, like this. This was the pattern. And it was measurable too. Like I was saying, that 89%, this and this. So right now, in terms of on the daily chart, which is my style, okay, I'm not really a scalper or a day trader anymore. I'm more of a longer term, day, week, month trader investor. Is where's the next pattern? So the problem right now is like if we really use other indicators like the RSI and the MACD, is there is a double top on the momentum here. So, and there's we'll kind of have to see what happens this week, but there might be a pullback on Link. So the pullback on Link could bring it back down to like 14.18, could bring it back down to 12.41. If it really goes back down, it could come back down to 10.32, right? So let's look inside day for some clues. Yeah, this is still right here. This potential setup on a 4-hour chart is saying the momentum in the past 4 to 8 hours is probably going to come down a little bit. Also, it's weekend, right? Sometimes though, like I've seen on Saturday where it just goes crazy up, but according to this indicator, and the price pattern here, looks like it might pull back down to the support at like 14.12. On a 1 hour, if we're going more on the inside chart, okay, the bots have not really triggered it, although there is some momentum building on the inside day. So this weekend, it might be interesting. Like what the chart's telling me for this weekend is it might be pulling back down a little bit for the weekend, right? If I'm really, really sensitive to the chart, then this could be like some baby flag right here, some baby flag action right here. But again, in terms of like why did it break out is because this came back down to a nice refresh point. Meaning that if somebody was going to come back into the market, it's better to buy it when this indicator is down here and the price is down rather than maybe trying to buy it like exactly right here is what I'm saying. But again, crypto, it's really tricky because I've seen exactly what I say fail in the market before. But at the same time is if we think of it like this, if crypto is connected to gold and silver, right? And gold and silver is having some trouble right now. It's not on this side anymore of going up. It's on the downside right now. Gold and silver pulling back, right? And it doesn't look like it's over yet. And then you move to Bitcoin. Oops, that's not Bitcoin. You move to Bitcoin, right? And it's still hesitating. So again, I think everyone in the market is kind of having that same idea of, well, are we going to continue or not? Right? Like, are we going to keep going up or not? So for me as a trader, myself, I'm just watching Bitcoin every day. Because if we're going to break 12,000, that's probably going to be good for other altcoins like Link, XLM, right? And all these other altcoins, like especially what has that Link flag pattern, like I was saying earlier, is Litecoin has it. Bitcoin Cash has it. Even Ripple a little bit has it. Right? Ethereum had it, but it broke out. So yeah, in short, it's kind of, the too long didn't read answer is the higher Bitcoin and altcoins go is just obvious, the more risk there is in the market. Okay, so that's just, even for me as a trader and an investor, is like trying to buy at areas of discount. Because I was thinking about this the other day, is like this, is it's like just buying anything in life. If I wanted to buy a house, or if I wanted to buy a car, or if I wanted to buy a computer, and then all of a sudden on Black Friday sale, it goes 50% off or 60% off. Most people would buy it, right? So the same thing applies, the same logic and mentality applies to stocks and crypto, is that if Bitcoin, okay, is like if you think about it as like an item, a commodity, right? Commodity, merchandise, right? Asset. And Bitcoin in the COVID-19 pandemic didn't change that much, right? It's still Bitcoin. It's just the market crashed, like people's mentality crashed. You know, if Bitcoin goes down 50%, if Link goes down 50% from the recent price or like discount, and it's at a reasonable place of value, then people are going to buy it. Like the professional traders, experienced traders, speculators, robots, bots, algorithms, quantitative hedge funds, crypto hedge funds, the whales, they're going to buy that just because they're saying it's a discount, it's worth my money. Like it's worth it. It's like, if this computer is 50% off and I want it and there's nothing wrong with it and it's 50% off sale, I'm going to buy that. Bitcoin, same thing. If I want Bitcoin, if I want Link, if I want XLM, and it goes on sale, there's nothing wrong with it, then people are probably gonna buy it. So yeah, I guess I'll end here. I hope that answered your question. Is that the altcoins are mainly depend on Bitcoin. Sometimes they could lead, like Link was leading, but it's because a lot of people like Link as an altcoin. But all these other altcoins, they're just following Bitcoin. They're just following Bitcoin. Like EOS was going really nowhere for a while in the big picture. Binance Coin as well, Litecoin as well. Cardano was different, right? So sometimes people get a little bit bullish on Cardano news and stuff like that. So yeah, I think so to answer kind of what happened to you is, and what happens to a lot of people is if people, like if there's a crash, the question is like, is it good? Like, am I going to buy that? But then breakouts are a little harder. But one way on the charts to see this breakout is you draw the resistance line and the support line. Like let's say up to like right here. Okay, it was like floating around in here. Then if it breaks out, that's a more advanced strategy, but that's a real strategy. It's breakout strategy. And then put on some risk there. So I'll just end it with, I'll end this stream with a little bit of risk management. Okay, risk management, and just pass it on to you and to anyone who watches this. So risk management, like let's see if I could find this thing on Google Images. Stock trading, risk management. Is there a picture? Let's see. No. Trying to find this, usually percentage. Yeah, here we go. So what basically I'm saying is, hopefully you can see this picture. Can you see this picture? Is that drawdown. So that means like if whatever money someone puts into a stock or a crypto and it goes down. Let's say if somebody loses, or if you're hodling or you're holding a stock or crypto and it goes down 5, 10, 15, negative 20, negative 25%. There's actually, if we do the math, you have to make way more. We have to make way more to break even to get back to the starting point, to break even, flat portfolio. So this is just a lesson that I learned the hard way myself, is that if I ever lose more than 5, 10%, 15, 20, 25% maximum on my trades or my investment, then if you look on the right column, it takes way more extra percent gain to get your money back. So the problem with this is some people think like, oh, I could just lose, I let it go down 90% and then I just have to make 90% plus 90%. Actually, yeah, if that ever happens to anybody watching this, like you actually have to make 900% back to get all your money back, or 1,000%, which is, in stocks, is a very low chance of that happening. Crypto's maybe, right? So that's just something to always think about, is if somebody's trading or even investing, is just kind of having in their mind this chart as a trader. Okay, if someone's an investor, it's actually different, because if there's no stop loss, then this doesn't come that much into play. Like if someone's not going to stop loss sell. But if someone has a stop loss, then this matters, because if it ever goes above like 10, 15, 20, 25%, then it becomes like way harder to get your money back in trading. So that went much longer. Okay, I hope everything goes well for everybody in the stocks and crypto trading, investment, and education. Just a quick disclaimer, this was not financial advice. This is just educational, learning purposes only. Thanks so much for watching this, everybody. So just to recap, we did USA stock market index, we did global stock market index, and we did crypto market index. And the summary is the markets all three markets are at a very interesting spot right now, because it all matters about COVID-19, the vaccine, trader and investor psychology and sentiment, and just thinking about where are we going to be 3 to 6 months from now. If we get the vaccine, how fast and how far can we recover in the labor market, in corporations? Okay, so I think something we just want to watch out for is, if you look at Bitcoin, right? Let's just compare real quick, just last three and we'll end. If you look at Bitcoin, right, just look at this chart. After the COVID-19 crash, we recovered already in Bitcoin, right? Just something to think about there. We recovered already in Bitcoin, the price, and now we're up higher than the February 10th, 2020 high. If you look at the US stock market, S&P 500, we just barely we basically came back to recovery mode of where we stopped in February 2020, right? So there's the relationship. Bitcoin and the S&P 500 are at the essentially same spot we stopped at in this moment in time. Then if you just go to China, let's see, China, yeah, also a little bit more above. This is where it stopped in the crash, and then they crashed on COVID. So recovered. So right now the market is I think all three markets are seeing, like, are we going to keep going up bullish, or are we going to pull back? A lot of some hedge fund managers I've seen on the internet have been saying that we're going to pull back, like in Nasdaq, right? I could see this, right? If we break out here, if you look at a weekly, it's still totally pull back negative 14%, and we're still in this uptrend on tech stocks, right? So tech stocks, that would affect Bitcoin as well, right? Bitcoin, if you look at a weekly on Bitcoin, Bitcoin can drop 10% and still be in an uptrend. So yeah, just kind of want to watch out for that. I mean, if you really look at Bitcoin, okay, Bitcoin right here, we just rewind it on the charts. Last year's rally, 2019, from bottom to top, was 300% basically. So this year's rally from the bottom, 200%, right? If we go 300%, that's just to like 15,000, right? So that's maybe 30% more before people start getting spooked, maybe, right? Just looking at only 1 year of price history. So that's why for an investor, even for myself, I'm starting to question a little bit. I'm like, when is the top coming? When is the top coming in terms of where are massive amounts of people going to sell? And then that would be the spot to not FOMO, in my opinion. Because why I made this channel is I'm just trying to help people, like, try not to be the person who buys at the way top. Like, making sure people are not, well, not making sure, but I'm just hoping people are not going to be the Bitcoin 20,000 people, right? And buy here. And that's the absolute wrong spot to buy for trading, right? When it's there, because it's like it never recovered there. The closest spot was 14,000 here, but somebody's still down if they sold there, right? And we're at 12,000. So, we just want to watch out for that. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this. Hopefully this answers some questions. If you have more questions, feel free to ask in the comments after this video is over, and I'll try to get to it next weekend. Hope everybody has a great week. And just a reminder, this is not financial advice. This is just educational purposes and media only. Thank you. Hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.